Where else can you review 2024, share the excitement of 2025, recap current events and local news, and hear about upcoming events in our community? Montgomery County Now, that's where.
Welcome to Montgomery County Now, made of something stronger. The podcast that brings you the latest news, interviews, and a glimpse into the future with Sheriff Jeff Smith. Get ready to dive into the heart of Montgomery County and discover what makes it truly special. From community updates to thought-provoking conversations, this podcast is your window into the pulse of our county. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and join us on this captivating journey with Sheriff Jeff Smith.
Good morning. Welcome to Montgomery County Now. Happy New Year. January 7th, 2025. Wow. 2025 is upon us and a week has gone by already. Couldn't be prouder to be here with you today. My name is Jeff Smith, your sheriff. Thanks for joining us on today's show. We got a great show today, something a little bit different than we usually have. Usually it's a one-on-one guest, maybe two-on-one. Well, we have 4 in-person guests today that were previous guests throughout 2024. We're going to talk about some exciting things that happened last year and some exciting things that are going to happen next year or this current year, and just share some great information with you, which is what this show is all about. Starting out the show, we always go over what's happened here at the Sheriff's Office in our community the last couple of weeks. And certainly weather has become an issue. If you've been outside today or recently, you can imagine how cold it is with the wind chill factor. So be prepared before you go out there and make sure you know what kind of weather we're going to be dealing with in upstate New York. Lake effect, snow, freezing rain, all those certainly come into play and are an option. Hopefully some of you have seen our newly formed Honor Guard and our social media post about that. We're super proud of them, super excited for the work that they've done. They've trained for just over a year, and finally the uniforms have come in and they've performed a couple functions with recent swearing-ins of newly elected officials in the county, and they knocked it out of the park. They did a great job. They look fantastic. They're providing the respect and the dignity to our American flag and representing this office well, and I'm really, really proud of that. As I mentioned, they performed some swearing-in ceremonies. We got a new county executive, we got a new legislator, and a new district attorney, and a new county court judge. So that's exciting here in Montgomery County. People starting out in their new roles. Our EMS program continues to grow. We've been able to purchase new ambulances and are currently hiring 2 new medics so that we can respond to more EMS calls in this county. We've responded to approximately 900 EMS calls since March, and that's with the ambulance being the last one out of the building. So that means there's been 900 times over the last 9 months that there was no ambulance available. So something very, very important that's going very well. Donations have come in across the board, whether it be items to eat for staff or cash donations to help support our equipment purchases. And I can't thank the public enough. Our canine program, we're actually going to be getting 2 brand new 4-wheelers and a trailer from a very, very generous donation, replacing ones that are from 2001. So we're super excited about that. Our office lost some past members recently, Marilyn Smith, who retired from the office, and Bobby Van Alstyne. We also did social media posts about them. Our condolences to all their family and friends. They served our community well for a long time, and that's never a good thing when we lose people like that. As I mentioned to begin the show, we're into 2025. I hope everybody had a safe and happy and healthy holiday season. We've made it through Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and New Year's, and now we're rolling into 2025. So hopefully everything went well for you and your families, and you were able to enjoy some of that time. We're working on our annual end-of-year report that we should be releasing soon. We're always super excited to release that, and we hope that you take the time to look at the stats and the details that we provide in that and give us feedback, whether it be good feedback or questions or concerns or something that you think we can do better. We want to hear from you. I would imagine most of you have seen the incident in Marcy with the state correction officers and the statement that we made about that. I am certainly not going to dwell on that, but it is unacceptable and is not how we treat people here at our office, and our staff is trained not to act like that, and we learn from experiences from other jurisdictions. So I just want to assure the public that we treat those things very seriously, and it's something that does not go unnoticed, and we use that as a tool to continue to get better on our own. We have DARE graduations. We had one recently at the Fonda Fultonville Central School and one this week at the Fort Plain Central School. Our DARE instructors are out there molding young minds, hopefully, to make good quality decisions and understanding that there's consequences when you make bad decisions, trying to keep them drug and alcohol free, and life skills and all those important things that they can carry on with them the rest of their lives. And, finally, I'm sure that many of you saw Lieutenant Smith, the lieutenant in charge of our patrol division, graduated recently from the FBI Academy, which is the National Academy. Again, super proud of Justin's work. He works very hard. He manages our patrol division, and he has to deal with the sheriff, who, yes, is his father, but he doesn't get any freebies. I can guarantee you that. He is held to a standard that's higher than most people because I am his father. And but I'm super proud of him both professionally and personally. And as you can imagine, there's some press releases mixed in there. And as I say every time on the show, all the things that we just discussed have nothing to do with the call volume here and the arrests that we're making and the traffic accidents and the complaints that come in throughout the community and the papers that we serve and the incarcerated individuals that come in and out of our facility. And this is a busy office. You'll see by the stats, it's fairly consistent over the past few years. Sometimes there's a little bit more activity, a little bit less activity, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent across the board. We make a little over 1,000 arrests a year. We book in between 500 and 1,000 incarcerated individuals, depending on the year. Pistol permit applications are up. Traffic tickets and traffic stops are pretty similar. Sometimes there's more stops, less tickets, and sometimes less stops, more tickets. So really, it's incident dependent, but the men and women work very hard. We appreciate your partnership, and we appreciate you joining us here on the show. Let's talk about our guest today. We have a 4-panel guest here today, and I'm super excited to have all of them true professionals in our community. First, we have former county executive and current Albany area vice president with Gallagher Insurance, Mr. Matt Ossenfort.
Sure,
Matt, thanks for joining us today. We have Kelly Gilligan, who's the program director for Catholic Charities Domestic Violence and Crime Victim Services. Kelly, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. Rob Spagnola, Tourism Marketing and Recreation Director for Amsterdam City Rec Department. Rob, welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. Nice to see you again.
And Kelly Farquhar, our county historian, and I like to say, Kelly, don't take offense to this, the knowing of all, because you know old, current, and future. So Kelly, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Seriously, you are phenomenal. We're going to give everybody the opportunity to talk a little bit today, but I'll start to my immediate left. Former county executive Matt, you and I have sat at this table many times.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a little PTSD from the COVID years.
You know how I felt about you as county executive, but now that you've had time away from the county and been out in the private industry and visiting other municipalities and doing other things, just give us an overview about 2024, what you're excited about in 25, and how you think Montgomery County stands.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot that has happened over the last year, Sheriff, and the county's seen a lot of change. But one of the things that I think is really nice is when the voters decided to put in a new charter, it set a structure for how the county, it's our constitution essentially of the county and how things will work and when things change, what happens. So when I left, we had Matt Beck step up as the acting county executive, and then we had Bob Pertell appointed as county executive, and then Pete Broman elected as county executive. So there's been quite a bit of change, but to watch both the process work and the people work was really fascinating for me as a student of politics and government and having done this for most of my life. The charter worked, and we went through a period of change. The county reinvented itself. I mean, you're still here doing your thing, but even when you go, there's going to be change. And so you have a structure that works, and you have people that really, truly care. And you've watched, the county is a very strong entity and driver of the way life is in Montgomery County. And so to see that all work out was nice. And also in my new job at Gallagher, I'm traveling the state of New York and I'm working with municipalities. So I've gotten some perspective, and the nice thing that's happened is from what I've seen, it hasn't made me feel negative in any way about Montgomery County. If anything, it's been the exact opposite. It's made me feel even more blessed and just thankful to be a part of this organization, and also to be able to still be involved and be able to come here and see you today and do that type of stuff. So it's been interesting. And one thing I will vouch for is, with your son, he's been doing a great job, Justin, and I've always been a big fan of his. But I can truly say he's like the coach's son. He's got it harder than everybody else, for sure. So, but yeah, it's been great, and that's kind of where we're at. So it's good to be here and watch, things keep moving on forward.
I don't feel sorry for him.
It's
It's one of those things. Be careful what you ask for.
Well, I tell you, I did have this when I first became county executive. The sheriff called, and I didn't immediately call him back. And I received a phone call, and I was told about the need to call back quickly and the expectations and how the sheriff runs this department. So I can only imagine how Justin.
I believe it went that I said, if I call you, you have 1 minute to get
That's
back
pretty
to
much,
me.
yeah. And I'm coachable, Sheriff. I learned how our relationship was going to work, and I made sure I met you halfway.
And then moving forward, we did a couple test runs just to make sure it worked.
Yes, we did.
Well, Matt, I got to tell you, one of the points that you brought up, and I think we're all aware of that. We all work very hard, and I know that for a fact because I've worked with these individuals for a long time, and we all try to do the best job we possibly can for the people of this county. And as you said, when we do decide to move on to retirement or a different position or whatever it may be, someone will step in and hopefully carry that flag and that candle and represent this county the way we have done, because it's near and dear to our hearts. So it's good for me to hear that you've seen other municipalities and are still proud of
Well,
us.
and last thing I'll say, because I know we have other panelists, but I remember when we first started the new form of government, Cheryl Reese, myself, we were starting this thing from scratch, and to be able to watch it grow into what it is now has been something that I'm very proud of.
Awesome. Yeah, I am as well. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for everything you did in your role as county executive and now in the private industry. It's good to see you and take the time to come back.
It's been a fun change, and but it's still nice to come back and visit.
Awesome. Kelly, I know one of the most important things you have going on right now, or one of the new things at least, is the warming shelter. We opened the show and we talked about winter weather and how cold it is. Can you tell us about that and the importance and what you guys are doing down there in Catholic Charities?
Sure. The Warming Center is a part of Catholic Charities located at 1 Kimball Street in Amsterdam. And we have 10 beds that are available to residents of Montgomery County or adjoining counties that will shelter people that are homeless in the cold weather. So it opens every day at 5 p.m. and it closes at 7:30, but you're able to get support, food, clothing. We have showers this year, which is a new thing that we put in. So yeah, it's a big help to a lot of people who need it in the cold weather.
It is, Kelly, I'll say this, working in law enforcement and with our staff working around the clock, many times I think we don't realize in Montgomery County how many people are in need of this service. And sometimes when the weather gets cold like this, we're scrambling to try to provide support to people that are in need. And this has been a great addition to the services provided in this county. And it's awesome, something that we're very proud of and really very supportive of. So thank you, and thank you, Catholic Charities, for doing this and recognizing it as something that's essential and important. The work with, not take the shelter aside, the work you do with the victims and with the domestic violence program, and as a partner to us, we were talking prior to the start of the show about the volume of cases that's on the increase, unfortunately, and the seriousness of some of the cases. And it's difficult work, but can you share like the hotline number? Can you share, some experiences of how people do not have to be afraid to reach out for help and how you can keep it confidential and things like that?
Absolutely. You said the volume, and that speaks volumes to me in the sense that when I started here over 5 years ago at Catholic Charities, we had 4 full-time advocates working for domestic violence and crime victims. Today, we have 8. So the volume has doubled. 4 of those advocates are bilingual. So we really try to service the needs of Montgomery County. We do have also a 9-bed shelter, and anyone can get services if you're a victim of domestic violence or crime. The hotline number is 518-842-3384. And again, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. People answer that phone and help however is necessary. Last year in 2024, we served over 64 people in the shelter. 26 of them were children and 38 were adults. And when I tell you they come with the clothes off their back, that's what they come with. And we provide them with everything that's necessary for them to try to achieve what their goals are in life. We served over 4,000 hotline calls in 2024, and we serviced over 500 victims, whether they were walk-ins or non-residential, anything that they needed with crisis intervention, we were there for them at Catholic Charities.
I'd like to say that that's awesome, but what's awesome about it is the service that you could provide. You know, those numbers are staggering and concerning. But folks, if you're out there watching the show today and you know anybody that's experienced some domestic violence issues, encourage them to place the call. Encourage them to seek some assistance. I promise you they won't regret it. I promise you the advocates do a phenomenal job, and they'll help them and follow through with them at court appearances, or God forbid if it's moving out of their current location or finding a safe shelter, whatever is needed. That's what the advocates are there for, and we support that 100%. Reach out to law enforcement if it's a criminal matter, and if not, the advocates will help bridge that gap if we need to in the end. So Kelly, thank you so much. Thank you to you and your team for everything you do. And, you know, we are a partner of yours, and never be afraid to reach out to us.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
All right, moving on down. Rob Spagnola. You know, the city of Amsterdam, we talk about some of the things that they do in the city of Amsterdam as far as the events and all the work that the rec department does. Rob and Michelle Pollack, who is our current new county legislator, the two of them together are the dynamic duo. And the events that have happened in that city over the past 3-4 years have certainly put us on the map for recreation and for exciting things to happen. So Rob, I mean, I could list off the events off the top of my head myself, but I want to hear it from you. What do you got new and exciting, and how successful was everything in 24?
2024 was another good year in the rec department, but mostly for the city of Amsterdam and the county.
Yeah.
You know, our sponsors are countywide. And we're very thankful to everybody who sponsors our events, because without sponsors and participants, we have nobody, you know, doing this. The city of Amsterdam budget doesn't provide for, you know, funds to put on these events other than police and fire. So it's all sponsors. And, you know, the community was crying out for this for years. And I think we filled a void that was there just by offering it.
Yeah.
The community really did it all because the sponsors stepped up, the people came to the events. So it's, you know, it's really a community-wide partnership that has really made this take off the way it does.
But I'll tell you, when, you know, as a person that attends many of these events, you know, when you go to an event and it's well attended by other people from the public, it's organized, it's safe and secure when you've got police and fire presence there, and you can feel comfortable about attending them. There's numerous options of things to do, whether it be food vendors or games or rides for the children or whatever, music. You know, it provides something in our community, which I am super proud of, because there was a time between when I was a kid and when I, you know, started my professional career where it really kind of seemed like there wasn't really much to do entertainment wise in the county. And I think that's changed drastically. The one that's right in the near future coming up is Soup Fest, correct?
Soup Fest is January 25th. That's always the first event of the year. And it's a great event because it brings in the businesses in Amsterdam. And that's one of our goals, because we do have many goals, but we want to bring people to town, not only to visit businesses on that day, but come back all year round and say, geez, Amsterdam's really got it going on. I like what we have here. And, you know, that's the main goal, is to show off what we have, bring people to town. Hopefully they spend their money and then they come back and visit us again.
And I know that some of the events that happen in the western part of the county, some of those organizers have been to some of your events in the city and tried to take some of those ideas and move them to the western part. So that's helped countywide, as you stated earlier. And many times there'll be people from the western part of the county at those events. It's just not a city thing. It's a county thing, like you said.
Yeah, it's definitely people from all directions, you know, even east of Amsterdam. We're very fortunate. And just to hit on what I said to lead off, you know, when Matt was county executive, you know, whenever we asked for help, we need a partner, the county's there. The sheriff, there is no better partner. He's been at every event we ever do. He sponsors things. He sponsors free swim days at the pool. So like I said, it's really all about our sponsors, all about the participants. We've got a lot of new things coming up in 2025. We're trying to expand to different neighborhoods in the city. So this year we're going to have things in the Rockton area. We're having an event there because there's such a lot of new businesses popped up.
Nice.
So we want to hit that area. We're going to expand on events in downtown with some live music throughout the summer, right on the new deck that we built along the Chuck Creek, right behind the post office and the library. So we hope that takes off this summer. And then we're adding one more citywide event. We're adding a SantaCon event for next December, where everybody gets dressed up as their favorite Christmas character
Nice.
and hangs out in Amsterdam for the day.
I
So,
may be able to participate.
Yeah, there may be a role for you.
I think the sheriff just had the Santa on the podcast recently.
Yes,
actually.
yes. It was-
Maybe you could put in a call.
He was one of our guests,
Yeah.
and I was appreciative because it was a busy time of year
Yeah,
for him,
absolutely.
leading up to Christmas Eve. But he did a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah, Kaylee was happy.
Yeah, awesome. Rob, you and Michelle and the whole crew in the city of Amsterdam do a great job, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Folks, if you're listening and you haven't been to one of these events, you don't know what you're missing. So get out there, support them. A day like today, I wish Soup Fest was today because it's so cold. It would be awesome. But like you said, there are many, many, many great restaurants and eating establishments in the city of Amsterdam. I mean, I've been to a lot of them. So it's something that you won't regret, and you certainly will enjoy. Thank you for coming today, Rob.
Thank you. I think me and Michelle are the lucky ones. We get to meet so many great people, and we're really fortunate to do what we do.
That's awesome. It's good to hear. Kelly Farquhar, our county historian. Kelly, I'm always amazed when I have the time to talk to you, and then I always feel bad that I don't know more about the history of our county. I think when you were a guest in 2024 on the show with me, I learned that we had the first female sheriff, and those are things that I should know, and I did not. And I've been fascinated with looking at the list that you provided me of all the sheriffs and the years of service, and learning how she became the sheriff. And and then when I come down to your office, and when you have events down there, and some of the things you have going on, I know you have some exciting stuff coming up in 2025. So enlighten the people of Montgomery County. Give us some of that history that is right at your fingertips, which blows my mind away, knowing all that stuff.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'll tell you, I have a degree in history, but I did not really know our local history until I started working at the Department of History and Archives. The longer I've been there, the more I learn. So, I happened to stumble upon that one day when years ago, someone had mentioned that there was a female sheriff. So I did a little bit of research, and then when you asked me about it last year, we shared the information that a woman by the name of Sarah Wires, she was appointed sheriff for Montgomery County after her husband was elected, but he passed away before being sworn in. So she was sheriff for a short time, and then I believe it was a year, and then there was an election, and she went on to other things. But
So she, just so you know, I don't want to interrupt you, but she deserves the credit for us being on the right track moving forward, because there's no doubt that she cleaned it up.
you're probably right. But yeah, I mean, I've been at the department for a long time, and our Department of History and Archives is pretty phenomenal. It started in 1934, so just last year in 2024, we celebrated 90 years. And we have Ed Sheehan, who was a former county investigator, to thank for that, because he was appointed as county archivist and got the department started and really got our collection growing. So people come from all over the world actually doing research. And we were touted back in the 80s, I believe, as the third largest government-owned genealogical collection in the state.
Wow,
So
that was awesome.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, we celebrated our 90th anniversary back in October, and thank you, Sheriff, for attending our event. We pulled some interesting items from the archives to display, and we had a really good turnout.
It
Um,
was, I enjoyed, I mean, I saw the old pair of handcuffs and some of the old law enforcement things that you had pulled out. And it's just, it's very interesting to see where things were and how they
Yeah.
did things back then and how things have changed,
And there are some pretty interesting stories that go along with
for
that
sure.
stuff. But yeah, so we're going to be celebrating the America 250th coming up, and our first kickoff event, which we had created a Montgomery 250th, thanks to Matt. And in May, we're going to be kicking off our America 250th with a Liberty Pole raising reenactment, and that's going to be held at the Cattery Tekakwitha Shrine, May 17th. So we're going to have a reenactment of the Liberty Pole raising. We want to make it a family-friendly event. We are planning on having an artist who has done paintings of Revolutionary War themed events. We want to have some food vendors. We want to have presentations. It's going to be pretty interesting.
Excellent.
Then we also have the Haunted History Trail. We're working with the county tourism. Morgan, she does a great job. And we had in September an evening of history and hauntings. Brian Cano, who is a noted paranormal investigator you can see him on Paranormal Caught on Camera. He was there, and we had workshops where we taught people how to do research on paranormal events that they might be experiencing. It was a really great turnout. It was sold out, and we plan on getting him back again this year.
That's awesome. So there's some seriously exciting things coming up in your future and,
Yes.
and our future. And, folks, if you're watching the show today, encourage people to get out there and support these events, and you won't be disappointed. Again, something that when you talk about the history of this county it's Montgomery County has a very rich history and something that we're super proud of. So, kind of wrapping up our panel discussion here a little bit. All four of you were guests in 2024. Our show is a little over a year old, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come back here and be on video and talk about what you do in the departments and what we did in 24 and what we're going to do in 25. As the show continues to expand, we may do some more things, some more videos, some more live things, but I'd love to even have the opportunity maybe to be at some of these events and cover some of that and use it in some of the clips moving forward. But that's just thinking outside the box. I just know how important the things you do are, and maybe we can share that a little bit better with the public. And when we wrap up our show, we talk about events. So, one of the things that we have on the list of events, certainly you hear me talk about our volunteer fire departments all the time and how much I support them. And I am one, and it's important for the public to support them. The Town of Mohawk Fire Department has their first breakfast on January 12th at 7 a.m. right at their firehouse. Great event. Pancakes, French toast, all the good stuff that's not good for you. We're always talking about food.
I
Right?
know, Sheriff.
On January 16th, Farm to Table, which is an awesome organization. They have their organizational meeting at 6 p.m. at the Winter Circle. Learn about that organization and learn how important it is for our farmers to stay in business and what they do for us and how we are able to feed our families because of the work they do. On the 17th of January, the Amsterdam Mohawks have their hot stove dinner at the Clock Tower building at 6 p.m. in the city of Amsterdam. I will be there. That's certainly an annual event that's phenomenal to attend and support the Amsterdam Mohawks who do so much for our community. On the 17th of January, there's a murder mystery dinner for the Montgomery County SPCA at Amsterdam Muni at 6 o'clock. The SPCA is so very important. They're always raising funds to take care of our animals here in the county. On January 19th, there's a macaroni and cheese cook-off at the Kanjahari Moose at 2 p.m. We try to get events throughout the entire county so people know and have options. And then on January 19th, the Ames Volunteer Fire Department has their first pancake breakfast. They're famous and have had them for years and years and years out at the Ames Firehouse. That's from 7 a.m. to 1. And then, as we mentioned, to close out on the 25th, we have Amsterdam Soup Fest, and that starts at noon in the city of Amsterdam. So get out there and support these events, folks. Remember how important it is to our community. And to wrap up the show, after listing all the events, I always try to say, take your time, leave early, be courteous, respect one another, treat people the way you want to be treated, and let's remember that we're in this together. We need let's start 2025 off on a right foot and treat each other accordingly and not be a part of the problem and be part of the solution. So thank you to everyone that came today. I really appreciate your time and what you have to offer this community and this county. Thank you to everyone joining us on the show today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you for tuning in to Montgomery County Now, made of something stronger. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights from our interview and updates. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay connected with Sheriff Jeff Smith and never miss an episode. Join us next time as we continue to explore the stories, people, and events that shape Montgomery County. Until then, remember, we are made of something stronger.